Hey folks, Deano here again. This time taking a look at another Gundam model kit, or a Gunpla. This is the Real Grade Wing Gundam Zero EW, Endless Waltz. And yeah, the first one was a bootleg, so I decided to dip my toes into the real deal. Obviously, I am mostly just into Gundam Wing. As I detailed in the previous video, I grew up with it. It was on right before Dragon Ball Z in the 90s. So yeah, just naturally I ended up watching it and really enjoyed it. It was a bit darker than Dragon Ball Z, which as a kid was a little bit scary. Ooh, but growing up now, yeah, it's a brilliant show. Probably not one of the not as good Gundam shows, but if you grew up with it like I did, it can do no wrong. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is an older kit. Basically, a lot of the Gundam Wing kits nowadays are getting quite old. There's a few of the high grade After Colony kits coming out. In fact, I think they finished it a few years ago, with like Sandrock, Death Scythe, Heavy Arms, and Shenlong. So yeah, I'll be getting those in due time. Don't you worry. For all 20 of you that actually care about Gundam Wing model kits, but yeah. Yeah, basically this channel will always be more for things that I am passionate about. You are welcome not to watch if it doesn't interest you. I won't hold that against you. But yeah, any support would obviously be appreciated. So yeah, I will say before we get into the box and stuff like that, don't just jump in like I did blindly with real grades. They are quite a bit more difficult, I should say. Well, not difficult, they take up a lot more time because there's a lot more small moving parts compared to high grades. And I think like master grades and perfect grades, the bigger scale figures, are just on a whole other level on their own. So yeah, it was fun to build, but boy did it take a while. It took me 6 hours to do this. That's obviously including panel lining, stickers, and making sure all the parts had the sprue cut off them and things like that. So yeah, if you're going to get into a Gunpla, don't just go straight for real grade. So yeah, let's take a look at the box. So yeah, in terms of the box, it's a standard model kit style box. You've got much bigger packaging, obviously, because all the parts come on sprues, and so forth. But yeah, you've got a nice picture of them on the side here. I will say, like, I know this is an older kit, so I'm basically critiquing something that's a decade old at this point. This was made in 2014. So yeah, it was one of the first real grades, which, just a disclaimer, older real grades do have an issue with their joints getting loose over time. But yeah, we'll get into that once we detail the figure itself. But yeah, picture there, really nice. One thing that I don't like though is there's a bit of I don't want to say mis-selling going on here, but the renders show like the green parts being clear green plastic, which they absolutely are not. Like, they are clear plastic, but you need to put green stickers on them, which is a bit bonkers, considering, spoilers, they used green plastic in the kit. I don't know why they did that. That seems such a nonsensical decision to me. But yeah, Nice picture on the front. Kind of shows you what it will look like, but not really, because this render has differences from the actual official release, like the final product. Like, for example, the wings. Yeah, it doesn't attach via hinge, it attaches via ball joints, so that's completely wrong, for example. But yeah, that's just me nitpicking, let's be honest. On the side, you can see you basically build up the frame of these old kits, and that's it, just showing you some nice little designs. On the side, you've got Gundam.info, and on this side, tells you all the plastic that it uses, all the different kinds. No glue required. That's a bit of a lie. Sorry, but there were a couple of parts in the kit that just would not stay together because they don't snap. So yeah, while it says not required, I would probably do it for my own peace of mind to stop me going out of my mind. Yeah, you've got some pictures there in some cool poses, and the exact same on this side with the same logo. So yeah, let's take a look at his accessories. So in terms of accessories, he actually comes with quite a bit more than the old high grade kits did, especially that bootleg Wing Gundam that I displayed before. So he comes with 2 Buster rifles, his twin Buster rifle. They do, I might as well show it right now. When you pop that off, you do it with both guns. It's a bit finicky to do, but once you do, it's quite fine. There we go. So these do actually connect together, because of course the Wing Zero, and even more so the Endless Waltz version from the movie, Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, connects them together and gives them enough firepower to basically destroy a colony. So yeah, looks good. I gave him like minimal stickers, I'll be honest. Yeah, the amount of tiny detail stickers I think kind of detracts from the figure, to be honest. If I'm wanting like a film accurate one, I don't really want the stickers on there. But yeah, you can just move them out the way. The handles are there quite nicely. I did do a little bit of panel lining on this just to bring it out a bit. So yeah, decent enough. I'll pop that back apart to show you it in the hand shortly. You get a pair of beam sabers, which they have nubs on them. Do not cut those off, whatever you do, because this doesn't work like the high grade kits with how they go into the hands. They work more like transformers, which is a bit annoying to be honest. But yeah, you get a pair of them this time, and there are pegs on his wings, or his backpack section of the wings, to store the handles when not in use. But yeah, pretty basic. Most beam sabers are pretty basic looking. So yeah, and those pop out just easily, just like so. So yeah. So in terms of hands, we get a few different kinds actually, which is handy. It's getting closer to like an actual figure arts to me now. So we get a pair of splayed open hands. The white part is obviously a separate piece. We get a pair of grippy hands, which these split apart to fit the rifle or beam saber. Pair of fists that are on him in the package, and what they're calling advanced MS joint hands are these ones. They look flat, but if I show you, they're actually fully articulated, like an actual premium figure's hands would be. So you've got these three, which are on a joint. They're also on a ball joint at the palm, and yeah, really, really nice. There's even a hinge at the back of the hand, which gives him loads and loads of range. The surprising part is, I didn't have to build these. In fact, the entire inner frame for the real grade kits themselves, or at least they used to, they have an entire skeleton, like pre-molded onto sprue, that somehow has ball joints and stuff pre-built. Like, that's mind-blowing to me. I don't know how they managed to do that. I mean, in the long run, it didn't work out too well, because, as I said, the MS joint system tends to get, like, really, really loose over time. Probably because of the soft plastic that they used, which it's a bit of a shame. I kind of wish they would have worked out a way to keep it up, because it's a really cool way of building your figure, like building the skeleton first. So yeah, we do get a teeny tiny microscopic little Hero Yui. I have no idea what this is for. It doesn't fit in at the cockpit, which, spoilers, the real grade kit has an opening cockpit. But yeah, I just used the Gundam markers, the flow type Gundam markers, just to give them a bit of colour. So yeah, bit basic, but it's cool that it comes with it. And finally, we have the massive set of stickers that it comes with. And yeah, you'll notice I've not used many of them whatsoever. Like, I get the entire premise of a real grade kit is what it would look like if it was made in real life, sort of thing, which is the whole purpose of real grade. But yeah, I wanted to fit in with the rest of my, well, upcoming Gundam model kits. So yeah, I didn't really like the thought of putting all these tiny little details on them when the rest of the figures wouldn't have it. So there you go. But yeah, you get some nice chrome stickers and such. Those are supposed to go in the joints to make them look like metal. And you've got all these, they look like water slide decals, but unfortunately they aren't. They're just clear stickers that they're printed on. If they would have been water slide decals, they would have probably looked a hell of a lot better than they actually do if you put them on. I put 2 on because, not knowing any better, the instructions actually told me to before the kit was finished. The rest of these stickers, they wait until the kit is assembled to tell you where they all go, but certain ones they make you do during it. So yeah, if you like all that extra sort of detail, then by all means do so, but I won't be. So yeah, if we take a quick look at the gun again, there is a little green sticker in there. So both the MS joint hands and the pre-molded in a grip style hands fit the beam saber and the rifle. They both have a peg hole, which you fit that there, and then you just work the joints around like so. You wrap that around the handle, and that bit just goes on the imaginary trigger. And yeah, works really well. I do really like that. I will show the grip hands with the beam saber instead. So these ones, just your standard sort of model kit ones, you pop them apart like so, although there is a hole now. That hole is where the beam saber goes. It doesn't really peg in so much as it just sits there. So once that's put together, It's a nice little angle, but it is a little bit loose. So yeah, not sure why they didn't just go with the standard square peg with the high grades. I get that they wanted it to look fancier, but yeah, I would have just gone with the other one, to be honest. So yeah, and those peg back together like so. So yeah, that'll do it for all of the accessories, which admittedly is quite a lot for this guy. Let's take a look at the figure now. So, first things first, I will parenthesis this by saying that the whites aren't as detailed as this out the box. If you're just going to straight build it together without much effort, it's not going to look anywhere near as detailed as this, even with the stickers on. So I highly recommend a pack of these. These are Port-type markers for Gunpla. This set comes with everything you really need for any Gundam, to be honest. You've got grey, blue, orange, olive for some reason, and brown. Browns for reds, greys for whites, blues for blues, orange for reds, and olive for, I don't know. What does it actually say on the back? Olive for paneling, green or brown parts. Now there you go. And you also get an eraser, which I basically pour a bit onto the front of this, get a Q-tip, absorb it in, and then quickly just wipe across the surface, and you get really clean looking panelings with those. I'll leave a link in the description for that one. So yeah, in terms of details, like for the scale, this is phenomenal, especially with the paneling details added in. I didn't do any panelining on the wings, because like I know they're meant to be metal wings, but I just quite like the thought of them being that stark white in contrast to the actual mobile suit itself. You will notice I have it on a stand. The stand is pretty much required, to be honest, which unfortunately it doesn't come with one at all. Bit of a shame, but yeah. Without it, those wings make him so back heavy. Even if you put the wings to the front, he cannot hold the weight of that backpack at all. Like model kits, they're hollow inside, even these ones with full skeletons. So yeah, they are not going to be the most balanced in the world. But the Wing Gundam and Wing Zero EW in particular, you want them displayed with the fancy wings spread out and things like that, looking all majestic. So yeah, a stand is very much recommended. You can get these like a dime a dozen on AliExpress. These Tamashi stages. You get bootlegs of them and such. So yeah. But other than that, like pretty much every coloured piece on this kit is its own separate piece. Like I didn't paint in a single bit of this apart from the panelining. So yeah, really like that. The greys that are showing through, really good, adds to the depth, and yeah, it's articulated to the nines, honestly. So yeah, really do like that. So if we move on to articulation, like I said, I will be keeping him on a stand. The stand, by the way, if I can pop this off, there we go. You get this little adapter piece in the kit. That can either go on, if I show it like this, can you see it? There we go. See those two bits that look almost identical? You can either pop this piece onto his crotch or onto his backpack. I like using the backpack personally, because that's where I'm used to having these stages attached to figure arts. So yep. But yeah, back to the articulation. In fact, we'll pop him off that altogether, just to show it. So each of the wings is very articulated. You have a hinge inside. This white is really affecting my camera, apologies. So yeah, if we pop that off, we have a hinge there, that little section there, that is where the beam sabers go. So those just pop there. You can actually completely hide that peg because there's a gap there. It can also spread open like that. It's all separate pieces, so this piece in the middle moves independently, but they're all attached. Looks really, really nice. If we can pop that wing off as well and basically destroy him. So you've got a hinge up here, a hinge there, swivel there, and swivel right there at the end as well. So loads and loads of articulation in the wings. This wing as well, both of the big wings, each of these are independent, separate moving pieces. And we also have this bit opens up and that bit opens up. So yeah, this one is a little bit more basic, which is a shame considering it's the front of it. But yeah, you can just keep them all closed and it will look just fine. So in terms of articulation on the figure itself, the head can look up, can look down, swivel side to side, standard double hinge there. You get opening cannons on each side, which are really cool. The shoulders themselves, they pop out to give you more range. So arms can go up that far, back down. It does swivel. I'll just pop that bit off. Swivels, bear in mind it will get in the way of the wings if you're not careful. And this guy is falling apart on me. But yeah, you've got all the standard joints that you would come to expect. You've even got a butterfly hinge there, bicep swivel, double joint at the elbow, gets almost 180, which is insane for model kit. Just a ball or a ball hinge on the rest of the hands at the wrist. He does have a waist joint, which can go forward about that far, not a whole lot. Can go back a little. Does have a swivel, and it is on a ball joint. It's just a bit finicky to get working. The skirt pieces are all on separate pieces, so they all pop away like so. Do have a thigh rotation. You can kick up about that far, although it is a Gundam, so you're not really looking for insane ranges for posing. The legs can kick out about that far before you start straining those side skirts, and they will pop off if you're not careful. Double joint at the knee, which has some really cool added details when it doesn't all get stuck together. There we go. So that's it straight on. You can move it all the way there, and the knee piece moves in position. So that's very nice indeed. You'll also notice, because of the inner skeleton, these pieces all move independently, so it looks really cool. You just have to make sure it doesn't all get stuck together, which it did. You just pop that back into place like so. The feet are a real pain. Like, this piece moves, and the foot moves. There is a toe joint in there, but it doesn't get a whole lot of range. I'm not sure if mine's is just really stuck. But yeah, this back piece, this is a pain in the backside. I had to glue that together because it just would not stay on. It just constantly popped off. So yeah, bear that in mind. So yeah, overall, like a really intricate kit, which is really, really fidgety. So yeah, in fact, let me put them all together before we finish up. And there we go. So yeah, all in all, I really do like this kit. Just it's really, really finicky. So it's something that I'll probably pose in a cool pose, and then that'll be it forevermore. Because I have to reiterate again, like, these model kits, they're not really for constantly playing with and posing and such. They're stuff that you have fun building and then you leave it pride of place in your display, knowing that you have spent hours building that yourself. So yeah, but yeah, guys, I'll leave a link in the description below for this figure and all the parts and accessories and tools that I used to build it. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and until next time, I'll see y'all later.